The fascinating thing about people who hurt you is how well they understand pain. They've experienced it themselves, felt its sharp edges and deep bruises, yet they choose to inflict it on others. They saw your struggles, your agony, your vulnerability, but instead of offering help, they took a step back and decided to add to it. They watched you suffer, they heard your silent cries, and still, they chose not to be the hand that lifts you, but the fist that brings you further down. It is this twisted form of understanding that is the core of their cruelty, and it is precisely why their actions cut deeper than those of someone who has never known the weight of hardship. They know the darkness, and they know how to use it against you. Pain is a universal language. It speaks to everyone, regardless of status, wealth, or background. It doesn't discriminate, but what differentiates the ones who bring pain into your life is the way they recognize it in you, and yet choose to use it as a weapon. It's one thing for someone who has never known hardship to lash out in ignorance, but it's a whole other thing when someone who has walked the same path of suffering chooses to hurt you. They understand that feeling of being crushed, that weight that drags you to the depths, yet they decide not to help you rise but to hold you under. They saw you when you were down. They watched you struggle to catch your breath. They saw the cracks in your spirit, the cracks in your soul. They knew you were already broken, already fractured, and still, they chose to push you further into despair. They didn't reach out to heal. They didn't extend a hand in compassion. Instead, they took advantage of your fragility. They saw your pain, and rather than being the balm that could soothe it, they became the salt that would burn it deeper. There is a certain level of malevolence in choosing to hurt someone who is already hurting. To be fully aware of their struggle and still act in ways that deepen their suffering speaks to the depravity of the human soul. But understand this, people like this are not capable of lifting others because they themselves are still drowning in their own pain. They try to drag you down, not because they want to see you fail, but because they can't stand to see anyone rise above the darkness. They want you to stay in the place where they are, in the place where they have chosen to reside. They want you to stay broken, so they can justify their own misery. If you rise, if you find peace, if you find happiness, it exposes them for the hollow, bitter people they are. So they make a conscious choice to hold you in the same suffocating grip they're trapped in, to pull you into the same despair they have made their home. They saw your pain, yes, and they saw how you tried to keep going. They saw your will to survive. They saw you getting back up every time you were knocked down. But to them, your resilience was not something to admire. It was something to fear, because when you rise from the ashes, when you overcome, it exposes everything they refuse to confront in themselves. It shows them that there is strength in vulnerability, that even in the darkest of places, a person can still fight. And that fight, your fight, is a reminder of the fight they have not been able to win in their own life. So, rather than be inspired by your strength, they chose to break you further. They chose to crush your spirit to make sure that you couldn't rise higher than them. They saw your light, and they feared it. The thing about people who hurt you is that they believe in their own suffering more than they believe in your strength. They think their pain is more legitimate, more valid. They convince themselves that because they've suffered, their wounds give them the right to wound others. They saw you struggling. They saw you in the depths of your battles, but they believed that your struggle was an excuse for them to push you down. They thought that because they had suffered, they were entitled to break you. They didn't care that your suffering was real. They didn't care that every tear you shed was genuine, that every moment you spent on your knees was a battle for survival. Number. To them, your pain didn't matter. What mattered was that they could feel the fleeting sense of power that came with making you feel smaller than them. But here's the truth that they don't want you to know. The more they try to break you, the more they reveal their own brokenness. The more they try to hold you down, the higher you'll rise. The more they choose to hurt you, the more they push you towards becoming the person you were always meant to be. It is not in spite of their cruelty, but because of it, that you will find your true strength. They saw your pain, yes, but they miscalculated your ability to endure. They underestimated your capacity to heal. They thought that by inflicting more suffering, they could shatter you. But the truth is, every scar they try to give you only adds to your resilience. Every time they try to break you, you only become stronger. There is something immensely powerful about being hurt by those who understand pain. When someone who has suffered chooses to hurt you, it cuts deeper. Yeah, but it also creates an opportunity for you to become more than you ever were before. It forces you to face the darkness head on. It forces you to examine the pain they tried to drown you in and turn it into fuel for your growth. They saw your suffering, but what they didn't see was the fire that burns in you. What they didn't understand is that pain doesn't destroy those who are meant to endure it. It shapes them. It molds them. It makes them invincible in ways that the ones who try to hurt them will never comprehend. They thought they could keep you down. They thought they could extinguish your flame. But what they failed to see is that the more they try to smother it, the brighter it will burn. You are not defined by the pain they try to inflict on you. You are defined by your ability to rise from it, to use it as a stepping stone towards your greatness. They saw your pain, but what they didn't see is your strength, your resilience, and your unbreakable will to thrive. So when they look at you now, when they see you rising despite their best efforts to keep you down, they will have no choice but to face the truth. They will have no choice but to confront the fact that their cruelty was never going to define you. They will watch as you become everything they tried to destroy, everything they couldn't handle. And in that moment, you will be victorious, not just over them, but over the pain they tried to bury you with. You will stand tall, unshaken, and unbroken. Because you are not the sum of the pain they tried to inflict on you. You are the embodiment of everything they feared you would become. And that, in the end, will be their greatest defeat. They saw your pain, but they didn't see your power. And that's why they'll never win. They may try to tear you down, to push you to the edges of despair, but their efforts are futile because they failed to recognize the depth of your strength. They have underestimated you, thinking that your pain would consume you, that it would be the end of you. But instead, it has become the very thing that fuels your rise. Your suffering is not a mark of weakness. It is a testament to your resilience. Your wounds are not signs of defeat. They are symbols of the battles you have fought and survived. Every scar is a victory. Every tear shed is a testament to your strength. They thought they could break you, but all they've done is shape you into someone they can never defeat. The truth is, people who hurt you are often the ones who have never faced the consequences of their own actions. They don't understand the true weight of their cruelty because they've never had to deal with the repercussions of their behavior. They don't know what it's like to face the consequences of their actions head on, to see the damage they've caused. They don't know what it's like to live with the guilt and the shame of inflicting pain on others. And because of that, they believe they can continue their cruelty without facing the consequences. They think that by hurting you, they will somehow elevate themselves, that by diminishing you, they will feel more powerful. But the power they seek is illusory. It is a fleeting sense of control that only serves to hide the emptiness they feel inside. They may hurt you, but it will never fill the void within them. It will never heal their own wounds. And here's where they fail. While they are busy trying to break you, you are becoming stronger. While they are focused on holding you back, you are moving forward. Every moment of pain they inflict on you is a lesson that teaches you how to endure, how to rise above, how to become more than they ever imagined you could be. They thought they were destroying you, but what they didn't realize is that they were unknowingly forging you into someone unbreakable. Your pain has become your armor, your battles have become your training ground, and each challenge you face only strengthens you. They have made a grave mistake in thinking they could keep you down, in believing that their cruelty would define you. They saw your pain, but they couldn't see what it was doing to you. They couldn't see that each tear you shed was washing away the weakness, that each moment of suffering was refining you, shaping you into something greater. They thought they could break you, but they couldn't have been more wrong. What they don't understand is that your pain is not your weakness, it is your strength. Every time they pushed you down, you learned to rise. Every time they hurt you, you found the strength to keep going. And now, with every ounce of strength you've gained, you are more powerful than they ever imagined. But here's the most important thing. They will never understand this. They will never understand the power of resilience, the power of rising above. They will never understand that the more they try to break you, the more they will reinforce your will to stand tall. They will never understand that pain doesn't weaken you, it builds you. They will never understand that their cruelty is not a weapon to use against you, but a tool that only strengthens your resolve. They are blinded by their own bitterness, their own inability to face their own pain, and they will never see the person you've become because of their actions. They will never realize that their attempts to destroy you have only made you stronger, and in the end, they will be left with nothing but the emptiness of their own actions, while you will stand tall, unbroken, and unshaken. You must understand that the people who hurt you are not your enemies. They are merely reflections of their own unresolved pain. They hurt you because they are hurting, and they don't know how to deal with their own darkness. They lash out because they have never learned to confront their own demons. They try to make you feel small because they have never learned to love themselves. They see your strength, and it reminds them of their own weakness. They see your resilience, and it exposes their own fragility. But instead of learning from your example, they choose to tear you down, to make you feel as small as they feel inside. And in that choice, they have sealed their own defeat. Their hatred, their cruelty, their attempts to break you, they are all a reflection of their own inner turmoil. They don't hate you, they hate themselves. They hate the fact that they are incapable of finding peace, of finding healing. They hate the fact that they have chosen to stay in their pain, to remain trapped in their misery, while you are fighting to rise above it. They see your progress, your growth, and it reminds them of everything they have chosen to avoid. They see your strength, and it highlights their own weakness. But they will never admit this. They will never confront the truth that the person they are hurting the most is themselves. The more they try to hurt you, the more they reveal their own inability to heal. They will try to break you because they want to feel some sense of control, but they will never understand that true power comes not from breaking others, but from healing and rising above your own pain. They will never understand that the path to true strength is not through inflicting harm on others, but through facing your own darkness and learning to rise above it. They will continue to lash out, to hurt, to destroy, but they will never find peace because they are too consumed by their own unresolved pain. And while they may hurt you, while they may try to bring you down, there is something they will never be able to take from you: your spirit. Your spirit is unbreakable. Your will to fight is unshakable. They may try to knock you down, but you will always rise. They may try to hurt you, but you will always heal. They may try to break you, but you will always rebuild. They may try to destroy you, but they will never defeat you, because in the end, the power to rise above is within you, and that is something they will never understand. So let them hurt you. Let them try to break you, Let them try to tear you down. But know this, they will never win. Because your strength is greater than their cruelty, your resilience is stronger than their hate, and your spirit is unbreakable. You are more than their attempts to destroy you. You are more than the pain they have tried to inflict on you. You are more than the wounds they have tried to give you. You are a force to be reckoned with, and no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to break you. The road ahead may not always be easy. There will be moments when the weight of their cruelty feels unbearable, when their words and actions try to cut you down. But remember this, every battle, every challenge, every moment of pain is an opportunity for you to grow stronger, to rise higher, to become the person you were always meant to be. They will never understand this, but you do, and that is why you will always prevail. You will rise above their cruelty. You will overcome their hate, and you will become the person they were never capable of being. And in the end, that will be their greatest defeat, because they tried to break someone who could never be broken. They saw your pain, and they thought they could use it against you. But what they didn't see is that your pain is not your weakness, it is your strength, and that is why they will never win. They may believe that every time they wound you, every time they hurt you, with their words or actions, they are making you weaker, but they are wrong. Pain is a part of life. It's an inevitable companion to the human experience. But what they fail to grasp is that pain is not something that defines us. It is something that refines us. It is something that shapes us, not to be shattered, but to become resilient in ways they can't even begin to understand. They saw your pain, but they never truly understood it. They thought they could use it against you, but what they didn't realize is that every ounce of pain they tried to push onto you has been absorbed, transformed, and turned into an impenetrable force that surrounds you. What they didn't see is that you were never meant to break from their cruelty. You were meant to rise. And the more they tried to suppress you, the more they tried to drown you in your struggles, the more you fought and found ways to come up for air. They never knew what it meant to fight when you had nothing left, to keep moving forward when every step felt like the heaviest burden, to keep your heart open to the world when you had every reason to close it off. You have fought battles that no one could see, faced demons that no one understood, and yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, and most importantly, still fighting. They saw your pain, but what they didn't see was how much strength it took to keep going. They didn't see how your broken pieces have come together to form something unshakable. They didn't see the battles you fought in silence, the nights you spent awake, the moments when you felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, and yet you didn't let it crush you. They don't understand that when you survive, when you continue despite the odds, that is where true power lies. They may think they can weaken you with their actions, but they are only making you stronger. People who hurt others often do so out of a place of weakness, a place of insecurity. They try to destroy others because they cannot handle the strength they see in them. They can't comprehend how you keep pushing forward when everything seems to be against you. They are too afraid to confront their own demons, so they project their fear onto you, hoping to make you feel smaller, hoping to break your spirit. But you have something they will never have. The power to rise above. Every time they tried to knock you down, you found a way to stand back up. Every time they doubted you, you proved them wrong. Every time they thought they could crush your spirit, you showed them that your spirit is unbreakable. You are not defined by the pain they tried to inflict upon you. You are defined by how you rise from it, by how you learn from it, by how you use it to fuel your growth. You are not a victim of their cruelty. You are a warrior who has been forged in the fire of adversity, and they will never be able to take that away from you. They may think that by hurting you, they are gaining control. They may believe that by making you suffer, they are winning. But they are blind to the truth. that every time they hurt you, they only reveal their own inadequacies, their own inability to deal with their own pain. They are too consumed by their bitterness to understand that the only way to truly heal is to stop hurting others. But you have learned that lesson. You have learned that to heal, you must embrace your pain, face it head on, and transform it into something beautiful, something powerful. They saw your pain, but they never saw the power in it. They never saw that in the moments of your greatest suffering, you were growing stronger. They never saw that every tear you shed was a step towards healing, that every scar was a reminder of how far you've come. They never saw that when they tried to break you, you were only becoming more resilient, more determined, more unstoppable. There will be times when their cruelty will still affect you. There will be moments when their actions will still sting, when their words will still echo in your mind. But remember this: their words, their actions, do not define you. You define you. The way you respond to their cruelty, the way you rise above it, that is what defines you. Every time you choose to rise, every time you choose to heal, you are showing them that they have no power over you. You are showing them that no matter what they do, you will never be broken. You will never be defeated. What they don't understand is that strength is not about being unscathed. Strength is about how you handle the wounds you do receive. It's about how you carry the weight of your pain and keep moving forward. Strength is not about being immune to suffering. It's about having the courage to face it and still rise. They may think they can break you by hurting you, but what they don't realize is that you are not like them. You are not someone who will crumble under pressure. You are someone who will rise from the ashes, someone who will transform your pain into power. They saw your pain, but they didn't see your heart. They didn't see your courage. They didn't see your strength. They didn't see the warrior within you who is capable of overcoming anything, no matter how difficult the battle may be. They didn't see how every hardship you faced has only made you stronger, how every time they tried to tear you down, you've only come back even more powerful. And here's the reality: they will never understand this. They will never understand the power you hold within you. They will never understand the strength it takes to rise above their cruelty, to rise above the darkness they tried to drown you in. They will never understand the unshakable spirit you have, the one that refuses to be broken, the one that refuses to give up. They will never understand that pain does not define you. You define your pain. And this is where their defeat lies, because no matter how much they try to hurt you, no matter how much they try to break you, they will never have the power to define you. They will never have the power to control your journey, to control your growth. They can hurt you, yes. They can try to drag you down, yes. But they will never have the power to stop you from rising. They will never have the power to stop you from becoming the person you are meant to be. So let them try. Let them hurt you. Let them try to break your spirit. Because with every attempt, they are only reinforcing the truth that they will never win. They will never win because they cannot break something that is already unbreakable. They will never win because they cannot defeat someone who is already a warrior. They will never win because they cannot take away the power that comes from rising above, from transforming pain into strength. They may have seen your pain, but they will never see the strength that lies beneath it. And that is why they will never win. And that is why they will never win. Pain, to them, is a weakness. They think that by pushing you to your limits, they will see you break. They will see you fall apart. And in that moment, they'll have their victory. But what they don't realize is that pain is not something that will bring you down forever. It is not the end of the story. It is merely a chapter in your journey. And just as they fail to understand that, they will also fail to break you. They fail to realize that you are not like them. You don't crumble when life pushes you down. You don't fall apart when they try to tear you apart. Instead, you rise. And not just rise, but rise stronger than you were before, more determined, more focused. Every time they push you, every time they try to break you, you find a way to stand taller, to fight harder, and that is something they can never take from you. They may think that the more they push, the more they hurt you, the more they control you. But they are wrong, because the pain they inflict only adds fuel to your fire. It sharpens your resolve and strengthens your will to fight, to keep moving forward. In the end, their attempts to hurt you, to break you, will always fail because they cannot comprehend the strength that pain has forged within you. They saw your suffering, but they never understood the power that came from it. You're not defined by their cruelty, but by your resilience and your ability to rise every time they try to bring you down. No matter what they do, they will never break you because you are unshakable, and that is why, in the end, they will never win.